Hey folks, so I have my raised bed planter, and let me show you all something quickly. So when you look at it, and let's actually get a little closer. So right here you can see that there's some standing water, which means we've had enough rain that this thing filled up right to there with water. Now, I plan to basically keep this planter against the wall so it doesn't collect as much rain if it does that, as opposed to drilling holes. So let me show you something. You see where the level of the peat moss is, and you want to drill the hole just below that or just above there, near the bottom, anywhere but not above the peat moss. And this way it can drain down to that level. But then it would look unsightly. But I'm going to be working on this by just having it against a wall when it starts to get overly wet and then move it out. So I'll probably be moving this so that it doesn't fill up even more with the next rain we're having soon. Now, some of you are wondering, what about the plants? Give us an update. So, if you notice the Pogonia orchid, it actually has a shoot coming outside the red ring, and this is from an old Folgers crystal container. This Venus flytrap is extremely happy. Now, that leaf over there appears to have like four, no, actually two. Somehow it grew over the other leaf. Well, that one's dying. But like one of those leaves has four hairs on each side, and the other one next to it, two, as opposed to the typical three. Just a little fluke, I guess. But anyway, these labels got washed out. Those were labeled from the place I bought them, so I'll have to relabel them. This Studenti, that the red dragon. And this Venus flytrap's doing better. That's a tiny red dragon. You can see all the teensy weensy pitcher plants that I'll be moving most likely in the spring, except for a couple that I'll probably put in some bulb vases and take to the office. And then you can see the Venus flytraps, which I revived, and that one's doing really well. And so are these. They're starting to like come back nicely. And the Drosera Capillaris, if you notice, it's starting to flower. And if you notice one thing about the Drosera Capillaris, I have the one in the middle that's the bigger one, and it's nice and red. This one's a little more green. That one is extremely red. So needless to say, I'll probably take these indoors for the winter, so because the Drosera Capillaris does not go dormant, and it would be nice to just keep these going to have more dark red ones. I can propagate the leaf cuttings, medium like green, in between, and really dark red. It would be a nice kaleidoscope going on over here. And now, one more thing. I'm sure some of you are wondering, what about this Venus flytrap? And for those of you who've seen some of my latest videos, this is a Venus flytrap I got through connections. It came from a breeding program at Southeastern Community College, but I put it on a mound. So you see it's a little more elevated than the surrounding surface. And this peat moss compacted a little more than I expected. I had in the lower section peat moss and perlite to help the perlite would help minimize compaction. But in the spring, as I remove all these little pitcher plant seedlings as they grow, and as I work on like separating the Venus flytraps as they grow new little offspring, or if I peel back any leaves for vegetative propagation, then I'll be adding more peat moss, and slowly this will ascend to the rim. Now, some of you are wondering about this flower spike, so I thought I'll show it to you up and close. So there it is. It hasn't yet opened, but you can see the pinkness of the Drosera Capillaris, and that's one reason why they're commonly known as the pink sundew. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and happy planting.